Hi, beautiful. Hi, friends. Host Eric here, host Talking with Nice People. 49 years ago to this day, I was a live birth. True. Not everybody can claim that, but I can. Granted, most people can claim that, but not absolutely everybody. Thanks, Mrs. Mom. I hope to continue being a live birth all the way until the end of my life. I just had some stomach problems, so I'm feeling better now. I just had a couple of big poops. Like, oh, and I feel considerably lighter and relieved. No, I didn't sleep very well. I usually don't. Uh, it's weird. I start sleeping well around 4 a.m. I get a good 4 or 5 hours in the morning, but prior to that, it's very up and down, haphazard. For Rachel and I both, we're both changing spots. She starts on the bed. I start in here and switch, and it's kind of ridiculous, frankly. But it's just how it is with both of us. It's like there's always this battle to go to sleep when we first lie down that we lose every night. The thing is, I'm used to managing sleep stuff with Adderall, which is to say, I just won't really sleep for a few days, and then I'll start sleeping fine. you know, but I don't have any Adderall right now, and even when I get some, I'm a little querulous about it. I generally like to get sort of thwacked out and disappear from the world for a stretch. I'm not sure Rachel really likes that, but what's on schedule for the birthday day today? Nothing really. I have a typing at 3 o'clock. That's about it. I haven't really thought about it at all. I don't really put a lot of importance on birthdays. But I don't know. This is my first bomber for the day. This is the thing, Winston's mom. Both Rachel and I seem to sleep better when there's more light. I slept better when I turned on a light in here last night. And then I started sleeping fine. It's weird. There's no TE solution to it. You just gotta accept the fact that it goes along with our intuition. I like white noise as well. Rachel likes the sound of YouTube videos. Talking, basically. So, of course, I cannot go to sleep when there's any kind of talking going on. Thanks, MJ. Day's first rip is always a lunger. Happy birthday, bong rip right there. That was the first bong rip of my 49th year. It makes it kind of a milestone bong rip. think what I'm going to do to give my lungs an assist, a morning assist here, I'm going to hit this inhaler. Matt Damon plus Glenn Campbell, huh? Well, that'll be exciting for me. I've not seen your chill out SFJ's husband. There are some blue lights that bother me. For example, the portable charger I have that you have to plug into the wall to fill it up with battery juice. That blue light bothers me that it makes. I'll have to plug it into a different outlet if I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm really quite attentive to little things that bother me, and I adjust them. But ultimately, I just end up getting up every half an hour, having another sip of coffee, smoking another half a cigarette, eating another piece of candy. And then after I've eaten candy all night long, I have stomach problems like I did this morning where I was like, oh, my stomach. And I have to poop out a bunch of poop before I felt better. It's weird. Now here's the thing. I'm going to... What are you doing, kitty? What are you going after over there? The thing to remember is my insomnia is not a problem, really. It's a frustration for me. Sometimes, it's like I'll be tired. I want to go to sleep and I'll have trouble sleeping, whatever. But, my insomnia, I'm sure, would be instantly and easily solved by the sort of thing that Rachel's attempting, which is to say, I bet you, and I do plan at some point and taking half of one of Rachel's Klonopins, I want to see what it does. I bet you it knocks me the fuck out. Like, no doubt. Rachel has God level insomnia. She's currently on the floor in there, sleeping in the master bedroom on the floor because she often finds she sleeps better on the floor. One of the things that's helped her start to sleep better in general is coming to accept the fact that I am not, and nobody here is trying to find things to bust her about. I don't give a fuck if she sleeps on the floor. Why would I ever say anything about that? But her FE tool made that kind of a querulous thing, like, well, should I do this? He's going to think I'm weird or whatever. I don't know. She's learning to relax. She's learning that she doesn't have to be skittish, that nobody's trying to bust her chops, that you just want her to be happy, all that kind of stuff, And that's helping her to sleep better. Also, though, we both need to learn to stay up. Like, okay, we're not going to go to sleep well tonight. So let's not go to sleep at all. Or let's go sleep at 4 a.m. or whatever. Rachel was like, they said it has a 2-hour kick-in thing on Klonopin. But it doesn't seem to kick in for 4 hours for me, says Rachel. I'm like, no, Rachel, that's not the problem here. It's that Even when you're on Klonopin, it doesn't knock you the fuck out like it's supposed to. And it's like, after 4 hours, you eventually do go to sleep after trying to stay asleep. But it's just because you're nuts with the insomnia, I am in a good mood today. I was in a really good mood last night too. Thanks for the buckets of joy, Nicholas Shea. I will try to stay moist. Right. Well, for Rachel, it kicks in 30 minutes too. It's not enough to make her go to sleep. And so then after a couple of hours, she'll take a couple of other things, like a couple of Trazodones or Seroquels too. And finally, she'll go to sleep. She's asleep now. I know she's actually asleep because when I went in there to poop, she barely stirred. Normally, if you step on a twig near her when she's asleep, she goes, "Oh, hi. I hope you're doing okay," and blah, 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 because immediately having a full conversation with you. Of course, it doesn't take 4 hours to kick in. It might take 4 hours to peak. Maybe when it's peaking, that's when Rachel feels sleepy. But the thing is, the bottom line is that Rachel makes me really happy in lots of different ways. Most of all, I guess, it's kind of like the most important thing about it is that I feel genuinely valued and appreciated by her. Like a lot of, zombies do step on a lot of twigs. It's a good point. A lot of people, situations, whatever, you might be objectively a good deal for the person, but they're not going to see it that way because of insecurities or whatever. I appreciate that Rachel recognizes me as a good deal for her, as better than all the alternatives. I can believe that for various reasons, whereas it's not something I necessarily am ready to believe necessarily, In other words, I feel like I can provide sufficient value to Rachel that I don't have to worry about whether I'm valuable enough to her. And she does a fabulous job of expressing to me that she values me in that fashion and recognizes that I am valuable to her in that fashion. And treats me nice accordingly, That's all I ever wanted from a relationship anyway. Somebody to treat me nice, Yeah. I feel like I've got an excellent companion. I'm a Enneagram sexual variant, which means those names are terrible. Self-preserving, social, and sexual. It should be just called 1, 2, 3, basically. I'm a 2, which is I like to do things with one other person as my right? And my best friend or my lover or my whatever. I like one-on-one engagements mostly. She does too. She's also a sexual variant. So that's really helpful in a relationship when both people are relationshipy. I'm super relationshipy, I don't like dating. I don't like playing the puss. I don't want to go hump a bunch of girls or whatever. Although I did think of a great title / plot for a porn movie yesterday, which I'll tell you about shortly. In fact, I'll tell you about it right now. All right. So here's my elevator pitch. It's Rumpelstiltskin, but instead of Rumpelstiltskin, it's Humpelstiltskin. And Humpelstiltskin, he'll get the girl, give the girl the power to spin straw into gold, but she has to hump him. And you know, he's got a motto that says, if you want your gold long, you got to take this schlong. If you can't guess my name, you got to take more of the same. Finally, she learns his name, but she intentionally gets it wrong every time so that she'll get humped again by him. And they lived happily ever after. Humpelstiltskin and a girl, whatever her name was. I don't remember what the girl's name was in the story of Humpelstiltskin. There's also another possible story pornography movie called Rip Van Dickel. And Rip Van Dickel is somebody who sleeps every time he goes to sleep. He sleeps for a long time, and he can't wake up until a beautiful princess sucks his dick. Rachel actually Googled it to see if there was already a pornography movie called Humpelstiltskin. I asked her to. I was like, see if this already exists. I want to know. If it does already exist, I want to watch it. But it doesn't already exist. What does exist, however, apparently there's a Scooby-Doo pornography movie that Rachel discovered in her searches. Now, there was no Humpelstiltskin, though. There was a Scooby-Doo one, though. And I imagine Fred being like, come on, gang. Come on, gangbang. Let's go. Don't get discouraged, gang. I'm Fred. I'm very ENFJ. Or he's probably ESFJ. I don't know. Mostly it's like I just want to see the terrible acting in Humpelstiltskin. Gosh, I'd do anything to be able to bend this straw into gold. Humpty Dumpty the porno. You got to make all the king's horses and all the king's men come out of my cock. All the king's horses and all the king's men show up. This girl's in trouble. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be the girl who stars in Humpty Dumpty the porno. She's got to take all the king's horses and all the king's men. That's going to be a rough afternoon. Oh, you want to spin that straw into gold, huh? Yeah, I do. I can give you that power, but you got to do something for me, too. Oh, yeah? What's that? Bow, 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 bow. You're so funny, Humpelstiltskin. Why don't we burn through this week quickly? That's fine. I got paid, I think. They sent me their money yesterday. by my clients. Yeah, probably there is an audience for that. I really enjoy my bedtime stories that I tell that always end up in sex. I like telling them. They make me laugh. It actually makes me get sleepy too, which is nice. So it's like it actually does the job of being a bedtime story. Um, it's such a natural way of being for me. I can be talking and falling asleep at the same time. It's like why do you even need a plot at all, The funny thing about sex in general is it's not like there's a lot to it. It's just it's basically this in and out motion, right? In various orifices. So I don't know. It's weird. Sex is weird. Porn is weird, and humans are weird. By the side of a wood in a country a long way off ran a fine stream of water, and upon the stream there stood a mill. The miller's house was close by, and the miller, you must know, had a very beautiful daughter. Of course he did. He was, moreover, very shrewd and clever, and the miller was so proud of her that he one day told the king of the land he used to come and hunt in the wood. Round about, lo and behold, reel away, straw into gold. Oh, is that Rumpelstiltskin? That's the story of Rumpelstiltskin you're telling. Little does my lady dream, Rumpelstiltskin is my name. Is it Tom? Is it Jimmy? Can your name be Rumpelstiltskin? How did you know? Said Rumpelstiltskin. How did you know my name was Rumpelstiltskin? It's such an unusual name. How would you have guessed that? That's what everyone's wondering at this point. Wow, is this chick that good of a guesser? That's what they're asking themselves. And all the court jeered at him? How awful. How did they know his name? Oh, but I want to know how she found out his name. I forget how she found out his name. If you guess my name, if you don't guess my name, I take your firstborn child. If you do guess my name, then you get my schlong. My name is Humpelstiltskin. Go ahead and guess what it is. I don't want your firstborn child. I do want to hump you. I see. So was Rumpelstiltskin going to cook the child? Is that his plan? Is that what he says? Today I'll brew, tomorrow bake. Is he planning on eating the child? Is that what Rumpelstiltskin was going to do? It seems to be a common phenomenon in fairy tales that children get eaten by the bad guys. Like Hansel and Gretel. But a good variant on Hansel and Gretel would be that instead of the witch trying to cook them, well, it was in the zeitgeist. It was the milieu. A lot of baby eating at the time. A lot of people were enjoying human babies, so it was just part of the milieu. It was fine. Who are we to judge? Well, what did he want the child for then? I'm curious why Humpelstiltskin wanted a newborn child. What was he going to do with it? Was he like one of those women who can't conceive that kidnap somebody else's baby? Or what? Does it say why he wanted the child? That's what I want to know. Well, you know who was a pederast, right? If you were here the other day, you know very well who was a pederast. Lucky Baldwin, the founder of my hometown of Arcadia. In his old age, when he was like 50 years old until his death, he had this series of 16-year-old girlfriends and wives. The last one was a wife. Yeah, him and Gauguin. Hey there, naked savage girls. I'm Gauguin. I'm going to paint you, and then I'm going to give you syphilis. It's your lucky day. That's right, I'm a famous painter. It's okay. I'm a famous painter. It's fine. But I'm Gauguin, you see. Yeah, but you gave all these naked girls syphilis. Yeah, well, price of doing business. I'm French. It's okay. I painted some beautiful, beautiful pictures of you. It's okay. Do you really want this bong rip? Do you really want to smoke it now? Yes, I really want this bong rip. I asked him about it. He basically said that, men were excluded from that process back in his day. Like, he was out in the hall or something, He wasn't allowed into the birthing room. Or he didn't, it didn't sound to me like he even considered going in there, He doesn't remember a lot of details, really. I've had a lot of stuff from my childhood because he was working a lot, I guess. I don't know. That's the thing about SI. It remembers what it wants to remember. What it feels like remembering. Let me feed trouble. We got into a fight with Pee-Pee yesterday. We tried to, but I broke it up and shoot him away. Now he's back. Tell a friend. Trouble's back. Trouble's back. Trouble's back. Trouble's back. You got trouble. The thing is, I like him in a way. He's a handsome kitty. I like when he looks at me as a means of telling me that he wants me to feed him. He comes over and I'll come out and he just stare at me right in the eyes. Oh, you're here, huh? Okay. All right, I know what that means. It means you want food. So, he's a handsome kitty. I have to side with Phoebe, obviously, when they have conflict. And so, I didn't put out any food for the last couple of days because maybe it was yesterday. They had that conflict. No, I think it was the day before. And I didn't put out any food for him since. But I put it out. I wasn't trying to starve him or anything. I just He needs to learn that PP is the queen around here. If he wants to be fed, that's fine, but he needs to be respectful of the cat who is the homeowner here, which is PP. I think he got cigars to give to people, maybe. I remember my mom saying the doctor told her I was the longest baby in 2 weeks at the hospital. So, and I did turn out to be 6'4". Early on, the doctor predicted I was going to be tall. Yeah, he does. He probably makes that okay. I mean, when he was here when I arrived, like this was part of his territory then when I arrived with Kitty, and he wasn't getting fed by my dad or anything. It was just sort of his territory. So one thing I figure is that by feeding him, I save a few lizards' lives. The lizards are the things that really suffer from the presence of the cats around here. Probably mice do as well, but I don't really ever see any mice. There are rats. You'll see them sometimes in the summer walking along the power lines. My dad is 6'1". Apparently, I resemble my maternal grandfather, Earl Schneider. Earl Schneider. He was an alcoholic and died in a drunk driving accident. And apparently he was tall and slender like me and looked like me. I've seen one picture of him. He's also a domestic violence guy. So one of my mom's early memories is when her biological father and my maternal grandmother separated, and how Gladys, my maternal grandmother, had to wear big sunglasses for a couple of days. She had a black eye, So I guess I'm that guy. That guy's genetics. But obviously, I'm not a domestic violence guy. But I do share with him a problem with alcohol. I'm not a current active one, but probably. It sounds like it. The other thing is that on her deathbed, my grandmother told my mom and my dad that the only man she'd ever really loved was Earl. And, she'd been married with Al and had a good marriage with Al for a long time. Al was my mom's stepdad, and the person I called grandpa and thought it was my grandfather was Al. He was the one who was murdered when I was in 5th grade. He was shot 7 times in his pharmacy. He had a pharmacy, and he was shot 7 times by somebody who was on a lunch break of a trial that he was being tried for robbing my grandfather's liquor store. So this guy, his name is Juan Prentice Brown, I think. Juan Prentice Brown. There's a lot of shit on my grandfather online, actually. A.J. Cole is his name. Alfred J. Cole. And the reason is because this particular case, it involved a lot of legal wrangling. The perpetrator engaged all of his appeals and argued various points of law that turned out to be precedent setting in case law. So if you look up Juan Prentice Snow and A.J. Cole online, you will get lots of California court records. And this is how come I actually know what the real story is now, is I read it all in the court records. It's like I'd always thought a couple of details. I'd always had a couple of details wrong in my head about the reality of what happened with my. It's Koll. It's Koll. It's a weird spelling, I know. Koll, but yeah. I will save you the trouble, President Bob. I personally find this subject quite fascinating. Juan Prentice Snow. That's his name. Juan Prentice Snow. A.J. Cole and Juan Prentice Snow. You'd be better off. You could put Alfred J. Cole is better than A.J. because they in the court documents they call him Alfred. That's why. So if you type in Alfred J. Cole, Juan Prentice Snow, you get 423,000 results. And here's the case right here. People versus Snow, 1987, Supreme Court of California. The facts. Here, I'll put the link to what I'm reading here for if anybody else wants to see it. This is kind of super cool though, right? Like to be able to read about your grandfather's murder in court stuff. Okay, so the information charged defendant with intentionally killing Alfred J. Cole to prevent his testimony in another criminal proceeding against the defendant. The record indicates that on August 27th, 1979, defendant and co-defendant James Phillips robbed the Cole Pharmacy in Pasadena. Following their arrest, Mr. Cole was the only witness at the preliminary examination to identify the defendant as one of the robbers. Trial was set for November 3rd, 1980. Cole was subpoenaed as a prosecution witness. On the morning of trial, defense counsel Laura discussed with the prosecutor the possibility of a plea bargain. Laura consulted with the defendant, who indicated he wished to consider the matter during the lunch hour. Trial recessed at 11:30 a.m. Defendant was seen making a phone call and then leaving the building dressed in a suit and tie. A witness thereafter saw a man enter the Cole Pharmacy. He was wearing blue denim pants and matching jacket, gloves, and a blue-green motorcycle helmet with a bubble shield. Shortly thereafter, several shots were heard emanating from the pharmacy. Witnesses next saw the same man walking quickly away from the area, carrying the helmet and bubble shield and using them as a mask to cover his face while his other hand was concealed inside his jacket. Police were called to the scene where they found Cole's body had been shot 7 times. Evidently, nothing of value had been taken from the pharmacy. A .38 caliber bullet fragment was found in one wound during Cole's autopsy. Mr. Haney, the prosecutor in the defendant's robbery case, was told of Cole's death during the noon recess. He returned to court at 1:25. Defendant arrived with attorney Laura around 1:45. Haney asked Laura if defendant would accept the plea bargain previously discussed, and Laura informed Haney the defendant had decided to go to trial. Haney then told Laura and defendant about Cole's death. Although Laura appeared dumbfounded, defendant showed no sign of surprise or other emotion. Officers investigating the Cole shooting asked defendant to take a gunpowder residue test of his hands. Defendant appeared agitated and asked several times to go to the washroom before the test was performed, which request was refused. Eventually, the test was performed with negative results. Expert testimony indicated, however, that residue will not be present if the shooter had worn a glove or had placed his hand in his pocket. Anyway, they didn't really have much evidence. They didn't really have much evidence that it was him, but he was found guilty anyway. And there was an issue where thus, in whole, we reversed the judgment on Wheeler grounds where the trial court apparently considered itself bound to accept all of the prosecutor's explanations at face value, expressing the view that group bias is shown only when a prosecutor declares an intent to exclude all members of an ethnic group from a jury. Such abdication is inconsistent with the court's obligations under Wheeler. Defendant is a black man accused of murdering a Caucasian victim. As will appear in the present case, the trial judge expressed repeated concern about the prosecutor's apparent use of peremptory challenges to exclude black persons from the jury. Indeed, our review of the voir dire examination indicates that several black veneer persons were excused after giving seemingly routine acceptable responses to the prosecutor's questions. The Attorney General concedes that as to 3 of the 6 prospective jurors in question, the record reveals no obvious or apparent reason for excusing them. Despite the defendant's repeated objections, the judge inexplicably failed to demand any explanations from the prosecutor for the apparent pattern of improper peremptory challenges. Despite defense counsel's request, the prosecutor be required to express some kind of reason for excusing black veneer persons, court replied, I don't believe at this point that any pattern has been established. We observed that Ms. Cox's responses, like those of Ms. Daniels, seem quite acceptable from the standpoint of the prosecutor. The people have suggested no legitimate reason for excusing her. This is interesting. I haven't actually read this part before about the specifics of the case law, the points of case law there. Yeah, I use whereby. Hi. It'd be here. If we have any problems, we use the Google Hangouts. So anyway, that's my grandfather. Isn't that interesting? He was a pharmacist who got killed, and then there's a whole bunch of case law about his case, which is fun for me because I love case law, you know. A bunch of constitutional questions. It's a lot of fun. So I remember, obviously, when I was in 5th grade, I got pulled out of class by my dad who came to pick me up, and he told me that my grandfather had been killed, you know, and I remember not really knowing how I was supposed to feel or act, mostly. Like having FE concerns, mostly about it. I don't remember ever really feeling a lot of anything about it. He was just there one day and then he was gone, you know? It's weird. I don't remember feeling a lot of anything when my grandmother died either, when I was 18. Although I felt more about her since she died. It's like I've processed that more as an adult. At 18, your brain's not developed. My FI polar was in maximal FI polar mode. I just was like, I don't care. But I wouldn't be like that now about things. I feel things so much more strongly now than I ever used to. It's like somebody put an electric wire and shot electricity juice into my emotion bone. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a good cocktail party story. Everyone wants to go, oh, I'm sorry. It happened fucking 41 years ago. It's fine. Yeah, it literally happened 41 years ago. Believe me, I'm over it. If I was still mourning the death of my grandfather, who was killed 41 years ago when I was 8 years old, I would have to be an FI dom, I would guess. I don't know what one. What one would have to be to Would any of you still be mourning the death of a grandfather who died 41 years ago? I don't think so. Oh, I'm so sorry. And that's when Napoleon died. Oh, I'm so sorry. Napoleon died? Yeah, he did. It's okay. I'm over it. So anyway, it's my grandparents. My dad told me recently my grandmother cheated to get her pharmacy license. And she didn't take the test herself, and she hired somebody to take it for her. Something like that. She was the first woman pharmacist in the state of Arizona. My grandmother was. But not legitimately, apparently. She couldn't pass the pharmacy test. Well, that didn't stop her. She's an ESTJ after all. She was definitely an ESTJ. I can type her from memory, no problem. She was more ESTJ than my dad, and she and my dad got along great, My dad and her saw eye to eye about everything. My mom had a lot of kind of nastiness in her towards her mother, frankly, that I don't like when I think about it. And I wish, and to a certain extent that I participated in too. My mom I just sort of emulated my mom a little bit, and I regret that, and I wish that hadn't ever happened. And I hate to say it, but yeah, they had kind of a nasty relationship in retrospect. I think about it. Makes me sad to think about it. I don't have a perfect family either. I like to think of it. I tend to think of it as such. That's why it makes me sad to think about that. I tend to think of myself as having a perfect family where everybody loves each other properly. But that's not always been the case. I haven't thought about that in a while. That's sad. No, she was being mean to my grandmother. She also was being mean talking about her. True, that's true as well. But it wasn't awful or anything. There's no abuse or anything. It's just I have memories that I don't like. I guess I don't even want to go over them. It's not anything specific. It's just the way she talked to her, the way that she like tried to make it clear to my grandmother that having to go there was a burden on her, and it's ugly. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. Boy, there's some unexpected old emotions. Who would have thought kind of who'd think that there'd be any way I could feel something from such a long time ago? Feelings are weird. They really don't make any sense. You know? They're like waves of clouds of mush. They're like big bowls of porridge that you just pour on your face instead of eating, pointlessly getting yourself all wet and covered in porridge. That's what feelings are like. Oh, feelings make me tired. Talk about a sedative. I've thought this often. I bet the best thing I could do to help Rachel go to sleep is try to force her to do some TE before bed. You know, here, solve this problem. Am I on? Am I on? I'm on. Waka waka waka. You didn't retract it fast enough. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm in a good mood, but then somehow I got memory holes down into a bad memory that made me sad for a minute. It was an old memory from like 40 years ago or something. It's not really anything specific. It's just sort of assorted little memories of mean comments my mom would say and stuff. And it made me feel bad about the fact that my family had some toxicity in it too. You know, it's like it's exciting, Mrs. Mom. I gotta tell you, very exciting. I love getting shit in the mail. We'll have another unboxing video for sure. Whew. I am all of a sudden just so tired. I know. That's FI, Jake Hurwitz. That's what I'm saying. See how embarrassing it is to have FI? You just contradict yourself like left and right. Oh, Jake Hurwitz, I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you for that. Right. Well, I mean, I can't imagine mourning my grandfather's death, but I do mourn I mourn the tarnishing of my family story with toxicity. It's like, oh, that's right, I have evil lurking in the heart of my family as well. It's sad. It wasn't dramatic evil or anything. It was just not cool, It was not cool. Anger is never late to my party. Sad and regretful and other things are often late to my party, but not mad. Mad rides on a white horse right up front, saying, "I'm here. I'm queer. I don't want any more bears." Fucking gardeners. I hate the gardeners. You want to talk about FI? I want something to make me cry. The arrival of the gardeners makes me want to cry. God, they're loud. God, they're annoying. God, I hate the gardeners. The gardeners, I just want to say, boo, gardeners, boo. I don't like you. Right now, though, I don't feel mad at the gardeners. I feel sad about them. I don't like them. Getting emotions made me all mushed out now. It's like, oh, what's wrong with me? Oh, you're coming down with a case of emotions. You need to go to bed. I think I do. I think I gotta go. I'm gonna go lie down with Rachel and sleep off this stuff that happens with the introvert feeling. Wow. This is like what it means to get in touch with your polar, I guess, is that it's just, you just get to experience something plus a shit ton of confusion. That's what it is. You're experiencing something plus a shit ton of confusion. It makes you tired. If I could just get Rachel to do TE shit before bed, she'd probably get exhausted and want to go to sleep. Or she just want to kill me. I don't know. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see you later. I'll be back on later. I'll see Swift Eagle at 3 p.m. I'm going to be rested. I got to go take a 4 or 5 hour nap, and then I'll be ready to go. See you later. Thanks for being here.